And that actually mixes things up a little bit more once again over in Europe, which we'll get to in a minute and have a look at the standings. But right now, I want to remind you as well, the caster is about to take place very soon. You guys can sign up for that over at thecaster.tv. If you think you have the talent to win a $10,000 prize for first, that's a lot of gems it'll buy you. Head over there, read the terms and conditions, and make sure you apply. Send in your video, and we'll have a look over it and see if you can get yourself on the show.
And gems are always an important aspect. I mean, that's where my income comes from. Gems and booster packs.
Gems and booster packs and chairs and desks. That's all it is. Well, I was going to mention a little bit about the standings and how things shook up, but we'll get to that at the end of the day. We'll head over to F.Dot and Tolly now for the final set of the day, which will be Sanguine, who are still trying to find a single win up against CycloneGG.
CycloneGG is certainly no slouches, bringing the same roster they had from the last season into this season. And we see Sanguine, on the other hand, they've had their struggles. But I think if you look at their performance last week, despite the lack of a win, like Handyman said, I think really you look at this team and see that they have been slowly and steadily attempting to improve.
They're trying to figure out what's going to work for them. This is going to be an improvement for Sanguine, a rebuilding, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out what's going to work for you, not only yourself, but the rest of your team. You want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best possible position for the gauntlet and for the next split.
Thoth selected. CycloneGG will get this powerhouse mid lane. This character has been almost universally banned out, and when he's not, he's first picked. We've seen him kind of dip and sort of players walk away from him, but Cyclone still certainly want to pick him up. Terra and Medusa on the right side, whereas Serqet we paired up with another Osiris.
I like the Serqet pick here, trying to pick off the Terra, trying to make sure that sustain is not going to be a factor is the key. We've seen what it was able to do in game number 1 of the last set, Valence Squad against Elevate. And here, another anti-healer, Osiris.
So Vulcan is going to be the mid lane selection for Sanguine. We'll take a look at who winds up piloting that. Fafnir and Fenrir banned out, and Sylvanas will be there as well. So Cyclone still need a Guardian, and that's why you see the heavy focus on it for Sanguine. Whereas Cyclone, Terra's there, but not sure where she's going to go. So Fenrir and Odin are safe bans. Sobek selected one more time, so Sanguine will have a Guardian in the solo lane.
A lot of control from Sanguine between this Terra and the Sobek. Their identity is still there. Usually they run this kind of double Guardian composition, making sure that they protect their backline. That's something you really want to do whenever you have a Vulcan that's going to be able to throw those long-distance meatballs as well as his Earthshatter.
The Awilix selection out of Sanguine is a really strong pick against the Serqet. When she comes to jump in, or jump away for that matter, Awilix is certainly going to be able to take care of that, and then some of the damage towards Thoth as well, locking him down for just a second can be exactly what the team needs.
Willish. It's going to have a lot of early game pressure. With the Vulcan, you're going to be looking for those rotations, trying to catch Thoth out of position if you're on the side of Sanguine.
Sanguine, Cyclone, game number 1. Let's take a look.
Looking at where these players are going to start things off. Looking at the duel lane, it is going to be a 2-on-2. Normally, some of the Guardians will elect to make the rotation, trying to make some of the plays here. But Terra is actually one of the weakest level 1 Guardians that you can possibly have. So wherever the Terra goes, you want to mimic it if you're on the opposite side.
So right away, we heard some rumors of this, but I didn't want to say it on broadcast till we actually saw the proof in the pudding. MikeTheMagikarp coming out of the jungle. He'll be playing the hunter role and giving Nika, the captain, the spot in the jungle. Mike has tried to really make the impact and honestly totally come up relatively short. We saw some creativity come out by way of the Geb jungle. He tried a lot of traditional things. That didn't work. The Geb jungle tried it. Obviously that didn't work because it's a Geb jungle. But then last week we saw him again go back to some of the normal picks, and while it was an improvement, it still didn't bring the team any wins. So Sanguine here, short of trying a real roster swap, just go for the role swap. Hopefully this proves truthful.
Experiment basically out of Sanguine, like we mentioned during picks and bans. This is the rebuilding phase out of them, so I'm not surprised that they're going for a little bit of a role swap here, but definitely need to think about their picks and bans a little bit more because of the fact that Terra has been locked in. It's given up those little ogre minions, and this is what Cyclone took advantage of, instantly grabbing level 2 for this second important wave.
You know, I want to see how this one goes. I really want to see how Nika plays in the jungle. So last year, his rookie season, he played the solo lane and impressed a lot of people. And then came out and said, hey, I don't even play solo, really. It's Hunter that's really my true position. And here, he starts in the Hunter role, and Hunter's a position that you can't really tell if you're good or bad until the later stages of the game, unless, of course, you're just getting trounced in lane because of the way the power curve of the character feels. So we haven't really got a chance to see if Nika was really all that on Hunter, and now he's got to switch back into the jungle. I wonder what kind of, stress that puts on the player switching positions so often.
It takes a lot of confidence to be able to execute the jungle position, so Nika is not afraid of taking the flag. He's going to either be the hero or the zero here for his team, and he's willing to take that responsibility on his shoulders.
And here's Nika by himself, looking at his own jungle, but outnumbered in his own jungle. Nice little stun coming out from DeathPanter onto Kalis, and Nika's going to separate and find Vote. Nice damage, and Kalis goes ahead and blinks towards his Hunter one more time. Nika in trouble, finds a way out, but here comes iceicebaby, the enemy jungler. Nice zigzag, just going to hit MikeTheMagikarp, however. 3-on-3, stun, nobody gets hit. And a lot of damage, a lot of team fight, a lot of abilities, but no deaths.
That stun coming from Terra was so close towards stopping the ambush from iceicebaby, and without the first ability still being on cooldown as well, that Serqet could have been a lot of danger. Could have opened the door for a first blood opportunity for Sanguine, but instead both teams taking a wash there. No kills on either side. Cyclone doing a decent job here, out farming ever so slightly, heading into the 3-minute mark, just up a little bit, 500 gold.
Solo side, we've got the classic Warrior Guardian matchup. DeathDodo on the Sobek and Deathwalker, not DeathPanter, 2 death players in this matchup. Deathwalker on the Osiris. Totally. Give me your feels.
So this is a classic Warrior versus Guardian matchup where Dodo recognizes he's going to get invaded, goes for the mana chalice, trying to basically buy enough time for him to stay in the lane as he hits level 5. And then once he does hit level 5, he's going to have that lurking in the water, which is going to give him even more mana. So not only is he anticipating of getting invaded the first time around, he's also thinking that Cyclone is going to invade the second time, which is what you want to do as an Osiris, taking advantage of a Guardian. And this is going to allow him to just still make sure that Dodo doesn't lose any experience under that tower.
Yeah, we constantly focus on the characters that need that blue buff when they get invaded. Characters like Guan Yu and some of the more some of the more strange characters that wind up there in the solo lane. But Sobek is certainly a character that can deal with getting invaded time and time again, thanks to some of the mechanics in his kit that you highlighted. So because of that, DeathDodo is just going to have to play intelligently and understand that his blue buff will be taken away pretty much for the majority of the match, which is why we see him with the mana chalice like you highlighted. So Sobek right now dealing with his own. How does the matchup come as far as the fight in the lane? Does Dodo want to fight Deathwalker at all, or does he just want to keep his distance?
Not until he maxes out his Sickening Strike. Deathwalker is always going to be looking for the poke using his 1-2 combination, which has a very short cooldown.
Yeah.
Second ability has 10 seconds. First ability is about 4 or 5 seconds, so you're constantly looking for a poke, and you can really exploit that on the side of a Sobek before that Sickening Strike comes online.
Kalis looking cute there, really just saving the way for his mid laner to come up and join him. So no harm, no foul. Mr. Stefan's Vulcan has been a very strong pick for Sanguine. Again, no wins, unfortunately, but Mr. Stefan on this Vulcan has looked very strong throughout, not just the course here, but Mr. Stefan actually played through relegation on a different squad and then got drafted by Sanguine once everything was settled, so he looked strong even back then. This Vulcan pick is just a good look for him.
Feeling very confident going for that Doom War, but with the Terra ultimate trying to find the gank onto MikeTheMagikarp. Gonna find a lot of damage there, which could give the potential for Vote to look for a play. We saw the earlier matchup of Funballer versus Jermaine, where Medusa on Funballer, Jermaine on the Rama, and this time around, Vote is gonna be able to look for more damage if he wants to be able to close it out with his ultimate.
So Serqet gang right there doesn't really put MikeTheMagikarp in threat of dying just yet, but it brings him low, which means that, like you saw, Vote shows up and one basic brings Mike below 50%. It just changes the whole dynamic of that lane after you're able to take that much damage off of the opposition.
Looking at the net worth here between some of these players, Osiris having a nice advantage over the Sobek already thus far with about a 300 to 350 gold lead. And on top of this blue chalice is worth 300 gold. That doesn't give you anything back once you sell it. So this 350 gold is about 650 heading into the mid to late game.
But you also, I mean, I like the way of thinking that in one hand, but at the same time, how much gold does the Sobek earn by not backing because he's out of mana? That's really the question, and kind of impossible to figure out. However, right now, DeathDodo turns around to the safety of his tower and realizes he's not that safe. Iceicebaby shows up, and with the Lurking in the Waters thread, all Ice could do is walk through.
Had iceicebaby still had his ultimate, he used it on the left side on MikeTheMagikarp. Could have spilled first blood here on the side of DeathDodo, and that's first blood on a soul laner, especially when you're against an Osiris. The amount of snowball potential for a warrior such as Osiris is almost nightmarish.
Well, you solo laners, we've been splitting hairs a lot here today, talking about the microest of plays all day. Not just this match, but our last set as well. So, by showing up, iceicebaby actually forces DeathDodo into the ultimate, even though he's 90% mana. That's well and good. You don't need to use the ultimate. We highlighted the fact that Lurking in the Waters is going to be used to retain that mana. Now, does chasing the ultimate out early earn him any points? Is that a win for iceicebaby?
Absolutely, because now Deathwalker, once he goes back into the lane here working on that Frostbound Hammer, he's just going to continue to bully Dodo. The blue buff and the speed buff is respawning from Sanguine. This is a play that Cyclone is looking to do, trying to exploit the soul lane matchup, already having a 2-level advantage. And on top of this, already a 600 gold lead, not taking into consideration this mana chalice.
Oh, here's a team fight right side. Still no kills, so this might result in first blood. It's a 4-on-3, but the fourth for the blue team is behind the wall and helps out Deathwalker take out Nika. Big damage coming out from Wlfy. Still, DeathPanter gonna run away, and that one kill is all Cyclone wants. Wlfy successfully hides himself behind the wall, makes Sanguine think they have the numbers advantage, but then Nika just gets blown up.
The timing of this engagement by Cyclone was calculated to a T. Speed and blue is coming up. Well, guess what? We're contesting it. And with the Serqet poison spreading, that was a great pick. And the final judgment to add more salt to the wounds, taking away the blue buff away from Dodo yet again.
What I think was the greatest comeback. Ooh, boat very deep behind the enemy tower. He's got help. Nice ultimate out of MikeTheMagikarp, but not enough. Taken to the sky. Might have been preemptive here. Vote misses all of the shots, get knocked up. Not going to get pulled, but Feather Step is strong. And Vote's going to be protected by Collis. Big damage returned on to Nika. As soon as Nika died to Wlfy, we saw him, well, not back, but he dies. And if you look at him, if you go ahead and watch the replay, he immediately buys a ward. He was like, all right, you know what? I got killed by a Thoth in the jungle behind a wall. Yeah, immediately purchase the ward.
More importantly, to be able to see those animations through the walls with the eagle eye vision is also being able to spot the rotations from CycloneGG, because in the next 2 minutes or so, those buffs are going to respawn, and I'm not going to be surprised if CycloneGG take it to the next level to be able to continue the pressure on this jungle solo side instead of starting the Wlfy quite yet. They don't really want to fight into the Wlfy because Sanguine has a very big threat of Mr. Stefan's Vulcan ultimate.
At the same time, wouldn't you say, because I was going to bring that up as well, but you look across the way, Tolian, wouldn't you say Wlfy on the Thoth kind of counteracts that?
It depends as well of the timing of it. Wlfy takes a long time to charge the ultimate, whereas Mr. Stefan will just fire that away from a distance. It also takes a long time to be able to travel to that objective, so it could be a win-loss situation, but it's not necessarily the guaranteed play. You're taking a little bit of a gamble.
So it's sort of like, ooh, DeathDodo forced in the ultimate, the jump over the top, still not enough damage. Deathwalker going to take a little bit of poke, but a wonderful play. Totally, you're loving this.
So I love the plays here from Deathwalker. He's snowballing out of control, hitting level 12, getting that second relic, going for this underplay. No fear because of the fact that once he goes into the ultimate to dive Dodo, he gets his passive, those 8 missing fragments. He's going to have so much damage mitigation, 16% physical from the tower, then 8% magical from the Sobek.
Just incredible stuff coming out from Deathwalker. I love watching a strong solo performance with Anatoly, whether we're casting or not, because you love the small plays, and you love watching these players really come into themselves. 3 levels separate, obviously 2-0-0 versus 0-1-0. What is Deathwalker doing to just control this lane so much?
It's just a denial of the speed and the blue buff constantly. Getting this gold lead for Deathwalker is what's allowing him to get the Frostbound Hammer. And once he got that into that lane, having that second relic, there was nothing really that Dodo can do at that point. He was just dead to rights.
Gold Fury Sanguine starts up, but Kalas from the jungle picks up DeathPanter, tosses him the other way. Goldfury gets leashed, and here's the team fight. Stefan tosses out the ultimate to nobody, but both junglers get kills. One on DeathPanter, one on Kalas. Both junglers kill the enemy's support. Beautiful synergy right there coming out from enemy junglers. It's 3-1 right now for Cyclone.
Cyclone, they were feeling very bold, trying to invade that red buff, and I don't really blame them. They have the experience advantage, trying to look for those plays. Vote's doing a lot of damage with that red buff. You always want to be looking for a little bit of a power spike play, whether you have an item advantage, a player advantage, or even a buff advantage.
Yeah, just want to make use of everything on the map. Deathwalker here. DeathDodo, that play before was one of the few plays that I think you want to miss the pluck. We saw him sort of shimmy past Deathwalker. Yeah, the level 11 Sobek wants nothing to do with the level 14 Osiris right now. Just let me shimmy back underneath my tower. Deathwalker finally letting his foot off the gas here and getting his own buff.
Sometimes you want to kind of have a short-term memory loss whenever you die, whether you're the hunter or the solo, to be able to just still continue to play the game. But
Sure.
at the same time, you have to respect the threat potential coming out of Deathwalker. With this 4-level advantage, having the Sunder for 15% damage amplification of the rest of his abilities and in-hands, that's something that you don't really want to deal with if you're Dodo.
Cyclone are starting the gold here this time around. A little bit more confident in their play than Sanguine was, who peeled immediately. This time Cyclone stick to it until Gold Fury gets even lower. 10% before they peel. Now everybody looking at DeathPanter. Kalas brought down to 10% thanks to Petrify. Vote gets stunned, but nobody targets him. Instead they target DeathPanter, and iceicebaby able to successfully take him out. 2-0-1. Successful gameplay for iceicebaby today.
Recognizing that Mr. Stefan wasn't in position, CycloneGG take advantage by starting up the Gold Fury. Nika's here trying to find a pick onto Kalas, but instantly pulling him during the grab, finds the feather step, even forcing out the ultimate. Beautiful play out of Nika. And that's the confidence you want out of your jungler.
And that's the confidence that Nika has shown since minute one of being on the pro scene, right? I mentioned last year was his rookie season, playing in the solo lane, and just very confident, just very confident guy. And I said the other day, we'll hold that as Gold Fury brought down a half.
Beautiful stun.
And then here comes to the sky, couple of shots, very quick, and Vote is a natural born killer, taking out MikeTheMagikarp right there for the 5th kill in Cyclone's quiver. Deathwalker has to run away a little bit and spaces out. Nika relatively low. Gotta be careful here. Nice little serve up of the solo lane, and there's the combination. Flutter and some ultimate damage. Still, Nika runs away, and Deathwalker getting collapsed on. Still not dead, Tully.
This is just like what Maniac did on the Osiris. Level 15 Deathwalker zoning out 3 members. Sorry, 4, as we saw Nika just having to back. But surprisingly enough, CycloneGG, they don't get the goal here. They want to try to save the life out of Deathwalker.
Not enough of a window, I suppose, in the eyes of Cyclone. But going back to our conversation about Nika, you know, I think it's a rare situation where confidence doesn't really pave the way for arrogance. But Nika has always been a confident player since, you know, our first interview with him as a rookie, and here in his 2nd season, still very confident, but never really ever struck me as an arrogant player. And I think that's very important when you're playing anything at a competitive level, to understand and want to be the best and think you're very strong, but not think you're better than everybody else by default.
Do you remember the player interview from Nika where he was like, if anyone gets soloed by Ducky, they should quit the game?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think that was that Frostiak?
It was Frostiak.
Okay, it was Frostiak that said that. And then Nika kind of got soloed by Ducky. So I think that kind of humbled Nika a little bit, to be able to try to recognize that, okay, like he has to look for more team effort plays.
And here, you know, on Sanguine, that's the name of what we've seen Nika do this whole time, has just been, all right, I'm captain, I'm going to get somebody on my team. Now I'm going to switch positions again to make the best for my team, because he was playing out of position on the solo lane for his team last year. So still just making the decisions for the squad. 50% on the Gold Fury Cyclone right now. They're going to leash as Kalas grabs up DeathDodo. He's pulled by Nika. There's help from Stefan, but Kalas just barely escapes. Damage on the left side, however. Kalas being targeted by Nika. He'll fall down to the basic attack in hand. And here comes to the sky, Vote MBK. Can't find it, just one. And the second and third will miss.
No, unfortunately not connecting on those snipes and trying to hold his own was Callus against Nika, not able to survive for quite long enough. Deathwalker was doing a great job zoning, but yet again, Cyclone, they start the Wlfy trying to bait out Sanguine. The nice little pullback from Callus with his ultimate couldn't really synergize as Wlfy did miss that final judgment. It's actually going to be Sanguine that secures their own Gold Fury.
And Wlfy gets stunned out, forced into some troublesome spots. Vote, on the other hand, certainly finds his way out. Sanguine may take the Gold Fury, still trailing by about 3K, but certainly find themselves a little bit more importantly back in this mix. Let me correct myself, just about 2,000 separates Sanguine, so nice and close is this match. Deathwalker just walking at Sanguine. It's 1v4, he just doesn't care. His under cleans up Nika on the backside, and Cyclone off of Sanguine's objective pushes up the mid lane.
That's the best feeling for a soul laner. Whenever you zone 4 people, you know you're not going to die. The rest of your teammates is killing somebody in the back line of your own. Without a care in the world, Deathwalker is just looking on fire, and to kind of build off of this momentum, he's actually also invested into this Hide of the Urchin, which is a risky sort of investment because sometimes the teamfights might not always pan out your way, but with a 3-level advantage for this Osiris, why not?
Exactly. Even if everything doesn't come to fruition like he is making happen right here, taking the 1-on-3 and coming up strong.
He found a kill! Yeah. He went 1-on-3 and he found a kill.
From now on, I am not letting Toli drink his coffee in the morning. I am just going to play him clips of solo laners taking on multiple opponents. You seem re-energized. This is everything you want to see in a Smite game.
This is like a Season 1, Season 2 solo lane performance, honestly. With Season 3 in the beginning of Season 4, a lot of solo laners will take into the option where they're going for more utility style, more of a secondary support role, trying to get their teams in position. And when was the last time you really seen a solo laner outside of Maniac just now carry the game? Not very often.
This is
once in a blue moon.
So just going back to your glory days, Toli. Right side siege, Cyclone certainly controlling at least the right lane. Tier 2 tower falls down for 1,500 gold, but Mikey and Mr. Stefan gonna try and push down this mid lane. They're a little bit shy of minions, and Deathwalker shows up, so everybody runs away.
The raid boss is here. It's time to retreat, says the cavalry. Sanguine having to concede that secondary tier 2 mid tower. And it would have been a nice idea to be able to get that tower. Obviously, whenever you lose something on one side of the map, you have to think about other options available to you. Tier 2 mid was exposed, but Deathwalker making the nice rotation. He had his teleport available to stop that effort.
Yeah, Deathwalker right here, definitely the focus of this game. Level 17 compared to the, well, we just saw Medusa ding level 16. We saw Deathwalker have a 2 to 3 level above everybody on the side of Sanguine, which is why he can just do what he's doing right now. Just walking towards the opposition quite literally and making everybody run away, especially because that's what Osiris does. Other characters are kind of ability-based. Vote taking the 1-on-2, but he is not a solo laner. He's going to roll away from the ultimate from MikeTheMagikarp. Great play. He's got help from the jungle, though, Toli. This is troublesome, and he'll go down for the count. Mike gets credit for the kill. Ice continues and runs away, but Callus kills Mike.
Doing a great job, buying a lot of time, plucked into the Vulcan ultimate, 2 for 1. Sanguine taking a huge lead. We saw Vote buying so much time. He was baiting that whole time for iceicebaby to make the rotation. He could have used his rollout so much earlier. He could have used both of his relics so much earlier had he had the option available to him. His Aegis was used, Purification Beads was not. He had the ultimate at the very end. I don't think he had enough mana to use it, or he was a little hesitant thinking that he wouldn't get into the sky enough, but either way, that hesitation is already costing them 2 lives, and on top of this, tier 1 tower.
Ooh, and this life of the support. Callus falls down. Nice little sequence there by Nika. 500 gold for the tier 1 tower as well, as Sanguine take their second tower of the game. 20 minutes in. 8 to 6, Cyclone find themselves leading both the kills and the gold, despite Sanguine picking up an earlier Gold Fury. Cyclone still in the driver's seat, 3,600 gold above the red team.
Tier 1 tower is not enough with a 3-player advantage. There's plenty of time to be able to extend the Tier 2, but not having enough players grouped up around that area, you might as well take something that you can get. So CycloneGG still holding on to a relatively comfortable lead at the 20.5 minute mark, and this is going to be putting themselves in a good spot as the Wlfy is about to respawn in 20 seconds. They just need to figure out a way to keep baiting Sanguine out of position with the advantage that Deathwalker has this entire game.
And that was going to be, well, thank you. That was going to be my exact direction to take the conversation, Anatoly. Deathwalker right now, obviously with a strong lead. It looks like Cyclone are going to look for the Gold Fury on respawn. And it looks like they'll be safe and sound with that. MikeTheMagikarp going to show up. But with Deathwalker, how is Cyclone best utilizing this lead here?
They're just
on the solo lane.
Well, just like that, Gold Fury spawns, boom, Cyclone get it because of the zoning that Deathwalker does. He zones 1v4, he zones 1v3 and finds a kill. He zones 1v2, Cyclone gets the Gold Fury. No matter what Deathwalker is doing, something is happening for the rest of CycloneGG.
Great performance. Just a great performance out of the solo lane. Building into another item coming out for our solo lane here on Cyclone. I still want to focus on the Hide of the Urchin though, Anatoly. It's going to take a couple of stacks. You have to be almost halfway stacked for the Urchin to really be valuable. Almost 4 stacks really for it to actually be worth its weight in gold. But when it comes down to it, you really just have the confidence. Only 2 stacks though. Cyclone want to be looking for more engagements to help out this solo laner.
Absolutely, and he's just doing a great job diving the backlines, trying to set up the plays. Now, granted, only 2 stacks right now, but this is still 8-6. It's a relatively low kill count game, I would say, for a 22-minute game. Now, granted, some games are a little bit less kill county, but with the Fire Giant being the next point of contention here for CycloneGG, there's going to be more baits and more kill opportunities. And more importantly here, Deathwalker's transitioning from like a physical defense to more of a magical defense mindset here, going for this runic shield with the passive here, trying to reduce the magical power by 50 of every opposing enemy.
Deathwalker versus the world as the portal demon goes down. It does go down in the direction of Sanguine. But our level 19 Osiris just barely loses any HP, taking on literally 5 players.
Doing so much damage, but not able to find the objective. Everyone else from CycloneGG was just trailing behind ever so slightly. And that, honestly, it's not the end of the world here for CycloneGG, as this Portal Demon does go down, unless they get caught out here, though.
Yeah, the Portal Demon is one thing, but it's about how does Sanguine utilize the actual portal. Deathwalker going to grab a couple of the tether, but jump forward and look towards Kalis. There's Stefan, and he's stuck in the midst of everybody. Deathwalker served up, pulled, and still not dead yet. But now he goes down. DeathDodo picks up the raid boss, and that could be the turnaround. iceicebaby obliterates Mr. Stefan, and Dodo takes out Kalis. So that's going to be a 1 for 2. As soon as Deathwalker goes down, Sanguine realize that their time is now, and they need to make a play.
Using the monolith from DeathPanter to sustain a little bit further allows them to push down this tier 1 solo tower. Also enough time to potentially get this tier 2. Kalis is not up for another 20 seconds. Deathwalker for 30. They have the control and the peels here. Dodo can easily initiate with the pluck. DeathPanter is going to be constantly sitting in the back, throwing those monoliths for the sustain.
There's going to be a missed charge prey. It's a nice dodge out of the way on the guys of Cyclone. But iceicebaby gets 1, and Nika responds, and he takes out 1 as well. Sanguine to get the objective. 1,500 gold earned for the tier 2 tower. They lose 2 players in the midst, but their objective is secured. 2,700 gold lead now, which was previously 4K.
Despite Deathwalker having such a big lead from the earlier stages of the game, we can see how even these teams are really evenly matched. Despite being the 2 bottom teams from Europe, 0 points for Sanguine, only 2 for CycloneGG. This game hasn't really gotten out of control at all for Sanguine. They were in that 2,000 to 4,000 gold deficit the whole time, just making sure CycloneGG couldn't really elevate it beyond that point.
And I think a big part of that, honestly, has to do with the role swap that Sanguine has made. I think that Nika in the jungle is in a much better position to actually control the team and find out where he wants to execute and be actually the driver for Sanguine. Being stuck there in the long lane as the hunter, you're just kind of hoping your team can sort of find success, and then late game you come and just clean everybody up. Being on the Awilix in the jungle, though, Toli, he can just be more impactful in a larger part of the game.
He made the switch originally thinking that he was going to make the, solo to hunter switch, trying to easy switch, but having more responsibilities in the jungle and having a responsibility of defending this fire giant for Sanguine is going to leash it for Cyclone, now engaging into the backline, though.
I like Mr. Stefan safe and sound in this buff camp, tossing the meatballs over the wall. Has to watch out for the flank from iceicebaby on the left side. Keep your eyes on that Serqet. Here comes Wlfy through the wall again. Kalas tosses Nika, and that could be a big deal. MikeTheMagikarp unleashes his ultimate, but not
Oh,
too
that
big.
final judgment.
And there comes Mr. Stefan chased down on the backside. iceicebaby gonna rejoin the party. It's now a 5-on-4. Deathwalker very low, however, still finding a way out. Deathwalker low, Kalas low. Vote trying to send everybody away from his targets. And nobody falls.
Nobody falls at all. Deathwalker barely escaping with his life. Every ultimate on the book is not available. Having to try to get back into this action. Deathwalker doesn't have teleport. Sanguine, they don't really want to start the fire giant. They're just going to use that monolith to get the sustain. They have all 5 members here. They could look for a potential flank opportunity, or rather an ambush here, as they're going to try to get control with a vision.
Too many players, I think. Too many players just targeting their own target. A lot of split TPS, both on the sides of Cyclone and Sanguine. No real focus call coming out from the shot callers on either side of the team. Fire Giant half HP, still being attacked, but finally leashed out by the guys on Sanguine. And Deathwalker just gonna walk up, and now Cyclone have their foot in the position that they want to be in.
MikeTheMagikarp took a little bit of poke there, about 25% health from that fire giant Cyclone. They're still not really afraid of Sanguine at all. Despite having a very small marginal lead, they can't really go to him here. It's the 27-minute mark. What was a 3,000 gold lead around 10 minutes? Basically the same exact lead at 27 is almost negated at this point.
Yeah, the 3K lead, like you said, gold lead is relative, like we mentioned all the time, and the 3,000 at 10 minutes means you can start looking at a gold tier and force somebody to fight. 3,000 gold lead at a half hour, on the other hand, I mean, now you're talking about a difference in minimal vision, maybe second ranks of relics, things that don't impact the game as hard as a full item might.
Wow.
iceicebaby was there once, and with one player gone, that opens the door. Nay, that opens the whole wall for Sanguine. Wlfy half HP as DeathDodo deals with him on the right. Players low on Sanguine's side, despite having the numbers advantage. Mike picks up Kalas, but Mr. Stefan falls very quickly. It's a 4. It's a 2-for-1 right now, so it's 4-on-3, but Nika's gone, Mike's gone. This is a fight better fit for Cyclone.
Absolutely. 3-for-2 currently. Sanguine in the advantage, but Deathwalker's not done yet. The health is very low. Dodo forced to use that dash, but without a tier 2 tower on the right, that's going to be a free kill. Deathwalker having the Frostbound. It's going to be very difficult, but a nice stun from DeathPanter. Still more slows. The roll from Vote, but that's actually a mistake. Nika's still here.
Yeah, Nika's here, Dodo's here, and DeathPanter's here, but Vote takes out Nika, still looking for more as the Osiris raid boss. Look at this guy, just 1-on-2, able to do it, looking for 1 kill on DeathPanter. He's expended the ultimate, so he won't be able to jump past Toli, but Deathwalker right there, just doing whatever he wants.
Vote just told Nika to sit down after that jump from the Suku, just firing the arrow, found a crit as well, fortunately enough for him to be able to pick him off before the single in-hand feather step combination came out from Mike.
Just big play by Vote coming out, and that'll open up the Fire Demon portal. Right now, half hour on the clock. Both teams, honestly, this before, I think you could say it was, man. It was never anybody's game outside of Deathwalker.
Yes, absolutely.
Cyclone didn't do anything with Deathwalker's lead, so despite Deathwalker's lead being enormous, it wasn't Cyclone's lead. It was just Deathwalker's game. Now, I think that lead has not been negated, but sort of rounded out, and he's still very strong, but Fire Giant goes the way to team on Cyclone, and now they're looking for a 4-out retreat.
Cal is very low, his ultimate's down, his dash is down, gonna get plugged back into the thick of things, but the final judgment forces Mike out on left side. iceicebaby recognizes is trying to dive it, trying to find some more sustain off of the mid Harpies, but the action is gonna favor Cyclone. They have a 4-on-5, but it's with Fire Giant, and it's on to Deathwalker. He avoids the root, he's still gonna stun out DeathPanter, and the blink from iceicebaby, the poison is going to spread.
And it takes one out very quickly. Deathwalker still on the chase, however. Nice roll forward, and nobody's gonna get knocked up to Nika, but Nika jumps away. Vote in the sky. One shot, one kill. DeathDodo is even darker as he gets his lights turned out by Vote. And Deathwalker is gonna join the party. 16 kills in total for Cyclone, but he falls down finally for only the second time this game.
3-4-3 as Callus just now revives, but the Fire Giant going into the two guys you really wanted on here. You got Wlfy playing this late game Thoth, almost level 20, working on that Rada to Hootie. Vote already level 20, trying to synergize with the Wind Demon, getting Deathbringer here.
Top of the player damage on Wlfy is this Thoth character, just able to, it's interesting because we haven't seen any of the single ultimate, I'm going to choose one person and just blast him. We've seen a lot of the damage from the Thoth come through the wall, and nobody's really able to focus down on mid lane Wlfy. He only has 1 death and 12 assists, and really what happens is these team fights start, everybody's clumped up totally, and then Wlfy just unleashes the damage through everybody, and somebody else picks up the kill.
Yeah, the whole plan for CycloneGG is wherever the final judgment connects onto, whether it's Mr. Stefan or MikeTheMagikarp, Vote's going to go into the sky with his Rama looking for those snipes. It's very easy for them to find these kills, especially with iceicebaby playing the Serqet with Blink. They're trying to get that one pick and then hoping maybe the poison spreads as well.
iceicebaby's had a pretty okay game, I would say. I think we saw more presence early on than we have late. And really what you see here is, if you take a look at the build, there's no crit online for iceicebaby. Usually what you see is that mobility and the just base damage out of the ultimate winds up making Serqet very strong in the early mid. And then late game, she gets another sort of breath of fresh air thanks to the crit coming online and Deathbang being able to just eliminate players. No critical strike here. By no means do I think it's incorrect, but it's you're certainly leaving something at home.
Going for the more guaranteed damage is iceicebaby. Not relying on the percentage chance from that crit is not a bad way to look at things, especially considering that these items between the Brawler's Beatstick and the Yon's Raft still apply very nice secondary effects to dive the backline.
The blink in. Collis gets nothing for it. Ultimate from Mr. Stefan brings Collis down to 40%, and even lower, 10% for the support, and he's chased out of the team fight. Sanguine with 1 ultimate pushed Cyclone completely out of the conversation.
That was still 4 ultimates used from Sanguine in total. 2 only used from CycloneGG. If they wanted to, they could still take this team fight, no problem. They still have Fire Giant onto Wlfy and Vote for 35 seconds, and that's plenty of time here as they're still grouped up on the left-hand side here.
And that's what you see Cyclone doing. Wlfy here shoving Nika, the jungler, out of position. Meanwhile, the rest of the team's coming down on the left side. Deathwalker just tossing out some poke. Same from Wlfy, waiting for these minions. They're right around the corner, and that's when we'll see Cyclone really make the leap for the jump.
Fire Giant still for 12 seconds. Frenzy has been popped. Deathwalker leading the charge. The tower gets melted.
750 gold expended for the 1500 tower. I don't mind it. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. As soon as you see that Frenzy pop, you see Sanguine retreat. They're like, all right, we want nothing to do with that.
Especially with Fire Giant that was still on Wlfy and Vote for 12 seconds. That final judgment could have one-shot Stefan and MikeTheMagikarp.
And that timing of the Frenzy is no mistake. That came out with the 12 seconds left on the Fire Giant, understanding that. So that's certainly a big deal for Cyclone. Now, no Fire Giant, but still able to push up without the additional help. Unable to really take out that mid tower, bringing it down to about half. But the Fire Giant poised for a respawn. The portal is the target. The portal will go down. Sanguine should defend on their left side, but with no Phoenixes down, they don't really have to. So Sanguine will be able to dance toe-to-toe with Cyclone as they make a look towards the objective, even though Cyclone will find themselves about 9,000 in the lead.
The Portal Demon has been taken, but CycloneGG, they recognize that the ambush was waiting. They don't take the bait. They would have been a Vulcan turret waiting for him there right around the corner. So great recognition from Vote. Playing it rather safe than sorry. Not expecting Sanguine to take the Fire Giant. And the fact of the matter was it was a slow and steady push out of CycloneGG. There was an important power spike item here for iceicebaby, trying to finish off this Mad Guy's Blessing. Now, whenever he dives his backline with the blink, that Sobek tail flip is not going to disrupt iceicebaby at all.
Theoretically, but Magi's Blessing into a composition like Sanguine's is rough, because Vulcan is just going to toss a meatball at Ice every chance he gets.
But the thing is, it's all about the positioning out of iceicebaby. As long as he's doing what he's doing right there, flanking on the backhand side, waiting for the right timing.
Collis is low, but this might be the right time. Frenzy's popped on the side
Final
of Sanguine.
judgment.
Stefan from a distance can't find anything. Wlfy takes out Stefan from just as far a range. Here's help from the sky, not going to find a target. However,
Poison.
Collis and teams still finding help on the right side. Dodo falls down to the hand of iceicebaby. It's a 5-on-3, but actually a 5-on-1. As Cyclone turn their sights on the enemy team with 3 alive, and just look at the objective with 1 alive. Fire Giant can't win the fight, and Cyclone take it. They have the buff, and they'll look for this tier 2 tower here in the mid lane, which they failed to get before, but I think they'll be able to obtain this time.
Rallying ritual being used. Group up. Callus is now in the action. 30 seconds for Dodo, 20 for Mr. Stefan. This mid Phoenix, it's only 3 members from Sanguine trying to defend it, but Thoth and Rama are absolutely melting this one.
Just too much damage in the mid lane. We'll see the team shift over to the left side. Cyclone now on their offensive push on the left side. Phoenix, Sanguine one more time, pop their ritual. Trying to deal with what Cyclone are throwing at them, and they just can't. Damage too strong out of the Hunter. Vote and his teammates take down the left side Phoenix. Mid Phoenix already gone. Right Phoenix is here. It's exposed, and it's waiting.
DeathPanter not able to connect the root onto anybody. We see so much damage from Wlfy being dealt onto DeathPanter, using that stun, and then his ability, his poke damage, just can't really find any sort of defense as Sanguine. They were doing a great job holding for a while, you know, down only 2,000 to 4,000. But once the late game came online with these final judgments from Wlfy, he's at top of the player damage, 33,000, despite all the work that Deathwalker's been able to do earlier on.
I mean, there's a reason that Thoth gets banned out almost all the time. He's very, very powerful. With that in mind, however, he's also very difficult to play, so I don't mind Sanguine sort of testing Cyclone here, but Wlfy's a strong player. He's been playing here not just 1 or 2 years, so certainly has that in his wheelhouse. The rally's coming out. Cyclone ready to make a play on the right side, Anatoly. All 5 players here with the Fire Giant. Frenzy comes out, and the Phoenix is the target. Response Frenzy from Sanguine. Mr. Stefan's ult. Where are you shooting? Just not at the enemy target. Both teams gonna wait out the Frenzy, and the Phoenix sits at 70% HP.
It's just an advantage for Cyclone. They can wait all they want. They have 2 more minutes on this Fire Giant. They have the left side and mid with fire minions flooding down. The Titan needs to be defended if you're on the side of Sanguine. And this is eventually going to give enough room for Cyclone to get this last remaining Phoenix.
Yeah, they're just sitting here. Cyclone can just wait, because Sanguine lose the game if they do the exact same thing.
Look how close those fire minions are on the left.
Yeah, so Cyclone here are forcing the enemy to make a call. The Frenzy comes out from Cyclone. Vote gets a kill. Wlfy gets a kill. This looks like it's going to be the end of the game, totally. Damage coming out onto the players, but now the Titan finally being focused as Collis takes down DeathPanter. Almost half on the Titan, and not many players to defend. It's just Dodo on Sobek, and I don't think that's happening. 15 to 22, Cyclone take game 1.
Great play by 2 players specifically. Deathwalker to start things off, Wlfy to close it out. CycloneGG, they find the first win. Sanguine's still winless this whole split.
I think you're, oh man, how much did you love that performance by Deathwalker?
It's pretty good.
You guys should have seen him off camera. I do a lot of funny stuff off camera when I get excited, but totally this was clearly one of, I think, of his favorite matches. As we head